Without wisdom, our children are bound to fail. That is the harsh truth that many parents avoid when thinking about inheritance as a topic. Sure, they might imagine the house, the land, the business, or the savings account, the heirlooms, or even the family name itself being passed down to the next generation as proof that they loved well and faithfully. And don't get me wrong, to provide is noble. It is certainly a valid dimension of parenting. It's just that money alone isn't the highest form of inheritance. Wisdom is. Now, a house can burn. A business can fail. Property can be sold by a foolish descendant of yours for a fraction of its true price. But wisdom, once internalized, becomes part of the child's operating system in a way that shapes their entire decision-making process from the inside out in a way that literally manifests their destiny, as well as that of your entire families after you're gone. Wealth gives a child options, right? But money comes and goes. Without wisdom, a child can burn through an inheritance overnight. But with wisdom, they can lose and regain, build and rebuild everything about your family through calculated risk-taking that not only maintains the foundation that you bequeath to them, but has the potential to take it to entirely new levels that you haven't even dreamed of. Wealth may provide legitimate options for your children, but wisdom teaches them which options to choose and with what timing, how best to utilize them, what to watch out for in life, and why. Without it, wealth merely becomes ammunition that hastens your children's self-destruction, which is why I completely disagree with parents who refrain from leaving their children anything out of some delusional sense of civilizational or socioeconomic equality. Equality, at least the version of equality that communists and communistic thinkers espouse, does not exist. It cannot exist. It does not exist in nature. It doesn't exist throughout society. And I paraphrase Thomas Sowell when I say that I am not even equal to the man that I was yesterday, let alone to delusionally subscribe to some ideological notion of equality for all. Equality, when taken at scale, is nothing more than a recipe for macro-developmental civilizational destruction. Not even biologically am I the same as the man I was yesterday, as my own cells are constantly replicating and dying, with every generation having at least one tiny bit of more expanded genetic errors as the natural process of aging. I even learned something today that I didn't know yesterday, so I'm not even equal to my own self in terms of knowledge and capability. There are multiple dimensions of inequality when referencing my own consciousness even against itself as I self-actualize throughout life in a way that completely debunks the notion of universal equality for all, regardless of whether we are referring to intrinsic or instrumental value in the realm of classical philosophy, whether we are talking about the literal or metaphorical realms. Therefore, to refrain from leaving my children anything is literally against nature, because even think of my own DNA. By intrinsic default, no child ever truly starts from zero because at the bare minimum do they inherit the genetic advantages of their parents. In any general birth, the child is supposed to be the best of the mother and the best of the father for the sake of the better evolutionary development of generations unequal to each other. Even if a parent gives neither money, nor land, nor businesses, nor any formal advantage, the child still inherits blood, DNA. They inherit personality traits, instincts, physical traits, predispositions, strengths, vulnerabilities, and patterns of thought, as well as intellectual capacity. Now, this does not mean that genetics alone are a person's destiny, but it does mean that inheritance alone as an abstract concept is inherently unavoidable and a natural part of life. Inequality is a natural part of life. And the reason why I say this is because many parents, especially wealthy and famous stars like Jackie Chan, for example, but not just limited to him, believe that their children should start from zero. That if the child cannot earn their own wealth in the same way, that they would be unable or unworthy to maintain the inheritance anyway. But there is a severe flaw with that way of thinking. Now, don't get me wrong, while I definitely believe that my children should start from zero in the context of learning the necessary basic skills and gaining experience necessary to become worthy of the positions that they may desire in their family businesses, those positions, such as the CEO seat or any other executive seat on the boards, are supposed to be theirs by familial dynastic right. I am not about kneecapping my own children for the sake of making other people feel better about what they weren't left by their parents. That's not my problem. To do so would be to weakly succumb to collective envy. But no, we're stronger than that. Because the moment we would, that would start a slippery slope. What then? What am I going to have them apologize for being phenotypically white dominant? Am I going to have them apologize for having above average IQs? Like, what? No. Just no. Thus, in the context of inheritances, a parent's highest duty is not merely to leave physical assets behind, but to treat their own hard-earned wisdom as part of the stepladder that their children can climb for the greater bird's eye view of familial evolution, without apology.